Hello, so I am back with Release Party Part 3. So, it gets a little murky up in here. So, it was a lot of fighting going on, and it was actually really toxic. I found phone numbers in his pocket. There was this girl that was supposedly my friend. I noticed that she would come over. I lived in the building. I lived in the back of the building, and she would be over her sister's house, but her sister lived like right in the front. So if you're like right there, you can see, who's pulling up or whatever. I noticed she every time Darius would like come home, she would like beat him like there, like seconds before he got home. And it was like, I don't know. It was just odd. It was like, are you coming over here to see me? Are you coming over here to see him? What's going on? And she was supposedly like a lesbian. I noticed one night she was over. She came over with these little itty bitty shorts on and like this crop top, tube top shirt on. And it was like, she like bent down in front of him and everything. And I was in the kitchen and I'm looking at him. He was rolling up. But he like looking as he rolling. And then he like looked over to me to see if I was seeing him. And I was. And he just like turned and smiled. And I'm like, that's crazy. That's real crazy. So I'm like, yeah, I peeped that. It was a lot going on. But shortly after that, I was incarcerated for 2.5 years. Yeah, but of course, it just made it easier for him to do whatever he wanted to do. He had our son around this lady that he was seeing, one of them, a lot of them, because it was a few of them. There was a few of them. A few of them were friends of mine, like once upon a time too. So, that was fun. One of the girls that he had our son around like a lot, he didn't, my dad would come up to see me like every weekend, and he would bring my oldest son and he would try to bring my second born son. But he only came, I saw our son, me and Darius' son, like maybe 5, 6, 7 times. It wasn't a lot, and I was gone for 2.5 years. That whole time I was there. But then I kept getting word that the girl that Darius had our son around was talking about, oh, this is my son, and like she mama, sorry. And I don't know, I just felt so disrespected. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? Like, it's one thing that you doing what you doing to me, but to play with my son, come on, that's a no-no. It's just some things you just don't do. I just feel like you don't play with nobody kids. And he did all the playing. He didn't care. There was no limits to what he would do. And it was real sad. One day, one night, I had a dream about this girl, and I could like see her face clearly. And I'm like, I don't know what it meant, but I felt like it meant something. She looked like Asian, but like her features were like a little different, so like maybe mixed or something. I don't know. But I felt something. So I mentioned it to Darius, and he just brushed it off like, no, I don't know. It was just a dream. But when I got home, it was still just on me. It was bothering me. Like, I knew about the girl that, was saying that my son was her son. But I don't know. I felt something. And I mentioned it to a friend of mine. And he's a gay guy. Gay guys know all the tea. You want the tea? Go to a gay guy. He knows it all, okay? I mentioned it to him, and he looked like he didn't want to say anything, like he didn't want to answer, but then he did. He like, yeah, so there's this girl. What can we call her? There's this girl, Chelsea. And I seen them around a few times, and I heard that they're like, dating. And I said, oh. Oh. He showed me her social media profile, and I'm like, it was her. It was the girl in my dream. I asked Darius. Of course, he lied. But one night, he had came to pick up our son, and I wasn't there, and I was going with I was going in the car that had the car seat because I wasn't driving at that time. I was going in the car that had the car seat when he came, so he came and got him without his car seat and everything. So when I got back, I had my sister and her boyfriend at the time, they're married now, take me over to his mom's house to drop off the seat for our son, so he's not just riding around, without a seat. I pull up and it's like a bunch of people. Well, we pull up and it's a bunch of people, and I don't know, I just had this feeling. I go in and his mom is acting like real weird. Everybody looking all tense. And I'm like, hey, where's Darius? And she's like, oh, he just ran to the store. He'll be back. I'm like, oh, okay. But they were like in the kitchen area, and they all walked out to the living room area and was like, it's like they didn't want me to go that way. I'm just like, okay, this is strange. And I asked, hold on. Yes! Sorry. So I just straight up asked her. I'm like, what? Does Darius got a girl here or something? And she's like, no, this ain't no whorehouse. What you think this is? This ain't no whorehouse. You my only daughter. So I'm like, oh, okay. I leave and I get home. No, I'm with my friends. And we just, we chilling, we relaxing, and I just have this feeling. So I lied to my sister. I lied to my sister, and I told her that I forgot to get something from Darius, and if she could take me back over there. Why, when we pulled up, he is standing right there with the girl. I went off. It was a shit show, okay? I was just so hurt. Like, are you serious? And I'm like cussing everybody out. His whole family there, his family, friends. You fake ass people. How dare you? F you, F your mama, F your daddy, F your grandma, F your uncles, F all y'all, F your brothers. You serious? Y'all always in my face. Oh, you my daughter, you my niece, you my sister, all of this. Cousin, all of this. Always in my face. And you condoning this? Are you serious? I just came over here talking to his mom. And you talking about, oh, this ain't no whorehouse. Look like it to me. Like, are you serious? We just a fight, and my poor sister, and her now husband had to break it up. His mom was trying to run up on me, and my sister jumped in and was like, you don't want to do that. That's my sister. So she like, please, Brianka, just get in the car and let's go. And of course, I tried to escape multiple times. But I was hurt. I was so hurt. Like, are you serious? You talk about you want to marry me. You talk about us getting married. And this is what you're doing. Are you serious? Really? Really? After everything? Really? I was so hurt. He tried to, of course, he just played it off for a few days, not talking to me, whatever. And then come around like nothing even happened. And it was like, ugh. So it just really, the rest of our relationship, it just went like that. It was all bad. Another time, I was out on a date and it was like a double whammy, honey. I'm out on this date and we at this bar that I miss so much. The Dispatch, it burned down like a few years ago. I don't remember how long ago, like maybe 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago. Favorite little, meetup spot, but yeah. So I'm there on this day and in walks these like 3 girls and I see one girl is just doing the most, like the absolute most. It's like she was trying to get my attention or something. And I noticed it was my first child father. It was his girlfriend. And I'm like, I'm not thinking about that man. I'm literally on a date right now. Like, I'm not thinking about him. You are. And you're thinking about me too. And I don't know why. After that, me and him, the guy I was dating at the time, we had a room. Went to the room. Did what we did. And I hear they somehow, and this is just weird to me, I don't even know how they pulled this off. They somehow got the room right next door to the room that we had. And I hear them in there like mocking us and laughing. And I'm like, that's weird. That's really weird. Like, what are you laughing at yourself? That's weird. I would never in my dreams do something like that. Like, why are you so pressed about me, girl? I'm not. You're a weirdo. You weirdo? Ugh. Ugh. So we sleep. We knocked out after that. And I wake up. I think I had to use the bathroom or something. I don't know. Wake up and I look at my phone and I see all these missed calls from Darius. So I'm like, what in the world? And his mom. So I called his phone back and he's not answering. So then I call his mom and she tells me he in the hospital. He had a seizure. So I'm like, oh, shoot. So me and my date, we get up. I have to go pick up my son. We go over there and she's like attitude because he took me over there to get my son. Like, what? Are you serious? This is the whorehouse, remember? I know. I'm just playing. But, yeah. And he used to pull up to my grandma's house all the time with a female. It used to irritate me to my soul. Like, these bitches don't like me. They don't like me. And you keep bringing them to where I live or where people in my family live. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? In the last story time about the girl that he was like all up on, like pelvis, all on her backside, that I remember the car. It was like this blue like pickup truck type car, I think. I remember it was a blue truck. It was some type of blue truck. Before I moved out, when I was at my mom's house, it was townhouses, and it's like, you know how it's like section on the end and then section, and then this section is connected, so the doors are right next to each other. That car I saw at that house right next door, at the apartment right next door. So and whoever that was, I don't know who the girl was, she used to come like knock at the door and then like just go back in. And it was like, and you got her at my house. He used to do some crazy stuff. Like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And it was like, I'm starting to believe these women don't even care about you. It seemed like they're more obsessed with me than you. Like, they were all weird. But the next day, I go up to the hospital to see him, and he acting like real weird. Real weird. And I'm just, sitting there, and in walks Chelsea. And she looking real irritated. And they're talking. She's like, you knew I was at work and that I was going to come up here when I got out. And he like, yeah, I know, I mean, and she just stormed off. And I'm like, okay. And he like looking, I don't know. I didn't like the whole vibe. So I get up and I leave. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, you keep telling me that you don't mess with this girl, but here she is. And you acting weird towards me about being up here. Like, what? So I leave, and he called my name. I go back, and he called my name to say, go get her. What? I'm like, huh? My heart just sank. It was like, what? Are you serious? You're telling me to chase after this girl that you were cheating on me with? Like, when I was in prison, I remember phone calls at night, like before, shut down at like 10 o'clock. I would call him, we'll talk, see what's going on, with our son, and good nights and all that. It was a few times we'll be on the phone, and I can hear like a woman trying to get his attention, and then she would do anything just to get it, like to get him off the phone. She would start, slapping him up, everything. She just did the absolute most. And it's like, well, first of all, you knew about me. You knew about me, and you didn't care. You did what you had to do to get him, but you're acting like I'm the one who stepped on your toes. That's weird. Like, you're a weirdo, but whatever, it is what it is. He, of course, he just does what he do. Don't talk to me for a few days and then come around like nothing happened. And then I'm like, okay, look, we need to talk about this, because what? Like, you told me to go after another woman. Like, what? Do you know how that felt? And he like, I don't remember that happening. You know what my situation was. You know what I was in the hospital for. I don't remember doing that. I'm like, right. And he like, the whole sweet talking thing, marriage, and, home is where the heart is. This our family. All the things that he knew I wanted, he used that against me, is what he did. So, I mean, really, the rest of our story just went like that. Just a whole lot of BS. So, I don't know. It was just really just a whole bunch of nonsense. Our son, actually, what helped me let go was our son. He was like 4. He was like 4. And I remember we was sitting in the living room, and he was like acting like he was playing basketball. And he just randomly started going, Mom, I like it when Dad is here, but I don't like it when he spends the night. Don't let Dad spend the night anymore. And I'm like, huh? And he's like, yeah, I don't like it. I like having my mom and my dad, but I don't like it when he stays. And he started talking about every time that he saw his dad put his hands on me. He talked about every time that he saw me cry. And I was just like, wow. I was holding on because I was already in a bad situation. I have 2 kids, 2 baby daddies, and I just wanted to have a family. I wanted to make it work with at least one of, the kids that I was just trying to hold on just so I can give my kids a family. It was like, I'm thinking that I'm staying for my son, but me staying is hurting my son, and I didn't consider that. I didn't. So that it was an eye opener for sure. He was so young. I was just like, he's always been, it's like an old soul. He used to watch the news and everything and sit up and talk about the news. He's always been really different. He's a good boy. And another time, I was with him. We decided to do like the whole co-parenting thing. We were just trying to be cordial because we still have to be around each other. We have a son, regardless of what, we're still family. So one day, I don't know what we was doing. I don't know if we like did some shopping for our son or what. I don't remember what we was doing, but then we stopped over at his uncle's house, and it was my first time ever meeting this uncle, and I've known this man all my life. Like, it was my first time ever meeting him. He says that he's gonna, run inside. It's the summertime, and he take the keys or whatever. I'm thinking he's just gonna run in. He had me out in the heat in the car. I didn't know where we were. Like, I wanted to get out and just walk. Like, okay, fine, I'll just walk home. Like, what the hell? I didn't even know where I was. So I'm like, oh my God. I'm just sitting in the car suffering. I'm, opening up the car door. It was so hot. And I'm just like, I can't believe this, man. And then it was like, I wanted to go knock at the uncle door, but I didn't know him. And it was just like awkward. It was, I don't know. It was a very uncomfortable situation to be in. But he come out like an hour and a half later. And his uncle walk him out to the car. And I say something. I'm like, Darius, why would you leave me out in the car? It's the summertime and it's hot. And he starts going off. He cussing me out, all types of bitches, just talking to me real crazy. And I'm just like, what? And his uncle looking at me, and he look at Darius, and he so I can tell that this young lady is not crazy. Like, she asked you a logical question. It's like, if I would have known that you had her out here, I would have not just sat in there as long as we did. It's like, you were wrong. You left her out in the car in the heat. It's the you didn't leave the keys or anything in the car so she could turn the air, nothing. You just left her in the heat. And you talking to her crazy, and then he looked at me, he I know you're not crazy because of what you just said and how you said it. It's not, why would you ever sit there and let somebody talk? And that's my nephew. And I'm telling you, why would you sit there and let somebody talk to you like that? He shouldn't do it, period. But and then he did it in front of me, and we don't even know each other. This is our first time ever seeing each other, interacting in any type of way. So that shows that he just does not respect you. You okay with that? And that was another yeah, he had absolutely no respect for me. None. He talked about me to anybody who would listen. Said some of the most horrible things about me. Long after we over, okay? We over at this point. One night, he comes and get our son. I walk him out to the car. He made me take his boots off his feet. He made me take my son's shoes off his feet. Talking about, who bought them shoes? I don't want you putting no shoes on that some other nigga about my. I have a job. What are you talking? I work. What are you talking about? I bought them shoes. It was a lot. It was a whole lot dealing with him. So I'll take the shoes off. But he has a friend with him sitting in the passenger seat. And I'm just like, didn't say anything. And it just always blew my mind how people would see the things that he would do, but would still call me crazy. It's like, he's saying that I'm these things, but I'm not doing the things that he's saying. And actually, he's the one doing the crazy stuff. But you just, what? What?
Hi. Okay, so my last video, I had like four of them, and the last one just keep getting messed up. I don't know what's going on. This last time when I was editing and piecing everything together, it was silenced. Like it was no volume, so I had to do it over for the third time. So here we are, and I'm at work now, so it's a little different. So yeah, really basically just to sum it all up, he Darius ended up being in a relationship with the girl, Princess, that he was saying was his cousin. They're together still. They have a kid together. What I really wanted to touch on was there was a point in there where it was around Father's Day. He was looking for something and he asked me to help him look for it in his car. And I saw this Father's Day card, and it was this handwriting, and I'm like, I immediately went to when I was in prison. He was trying to go for full custody of our son, and it was that same handwriting that was on the statement. So, but on the card, the Father's Day card, it said best friend, and I'm thinking like, what man gave you a Father's Day card? That's strange. And he's like, no, it was from Princess. So I'm like, best friend? Y'all said y'all was cousins. He like, I never said that. Definitely did. And that like really, that was like, okay, yeah, they for sure messing around, because how you just change it up like that. And when I first came home, Princess has, her oldest son is by my cousin. And I went to one of my family members' house, and she was there. It was me and my kids. We was walking in and she was walking out. And I'm like, hi, because I thought it was cool. I used to call this girl and everything all the time. I didn't know it was a problem. And she looked me up and down, like, and I'm like, and then she goes, hi, like talking to my son, hi, how are you? It's good to see you. And I'm like, I'm like, okay. I waited like a week before I actually said something to Darius. I'm like, hey, I saw Princess, just told him what happened. He was like, oh, I don't know what that was about. I'm like, okay. So everything just came out, basically. And that's what helped me get over him. And also, he did eventually, we were having a conversation, and I'm just like, hey, you keep hurting me. Like, because it got to a point where he was like, you can't even look at me. Like, why you don't, we were talking, I just wouldn't even look. I couldn't look at him. I couldn't look at him. And so we sat there and we had a conversation. I mean, he did so much that, and he, once upon a time, I thought he was like the finest thing in the world. But that man did so much to the point where when I looked at him, I didn't see an attractive person anymore. He was not attractive to me anymore because of how ugly he was on the inside. He is, because he ain't changed. Yeah. So we was talking, and he finally came out and was like, because I'm like, look, it hurts more you playing with me. Like, how I feel. I want my family. You know how I feel. If you don't want this, say that you don't want this. That's not okay. To string me along and have her and her and her and her, but your heart is over there, but you telling me that your heart is with me, and then you got me looking like a fool, embarrassing me. Like, what? Like, that's not okay. And he finally was like, well, yeah, I do want to see where this could go with Chelsea. And I'm like, I was hurt. I was real hurt. But I respected it. And finally telling me the truth, I respected that. So that was the end. Like we got into it still because he is a disrespectful person and he just gets on my nerves. But I mean that's what it was. I haven't dealt with him though, so I mean it is what it is. That is the end of that story time. Like, of course, his name is going to come up in different story times because, he's still the father of my child. But with that relationship, this is the end of it, y'all. Okay. Bye. See y'all next time.